Hello and welcome to our Senior Design Showcase. We are the team that has been working on the Healthy Eating app with the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition. My name is James and I'm joined with,
Nicholas Lawrence.
and we're going to give you a overview about the project that we've been working on these past 2 semesters and what went into those projects.
So to start a little bit about our sponsor, the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition, posted here is their mission statement. And so they are an independent research institution providing scientific expertise, partnership, and resources to improve diet and physical activity behaviors among youth and their families to help grow a healthier next generation. And the project proposed to us by them at the beginning of the year was to build a mobile application for them designed to assist in the monitoring of meal preparation of childcare facilities and general oversight of the facilities as well. Just a brief definition note here. Childcare facilities, as is referenced here, is not necessarily a daycare in the traditional sense, but is more often a childcare center run out of the home of an individual. And some of the stakeholders that we had in the project was our sponsor, Aletha G. Pony, Aletha's doctoral committee, Tony Gargano, who is a research project associate, Emily Hulse, who is the manager of the Center for Children, the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition, and UNMC, as this project was also being used in the thesis project by our sponsor, who is completing her doctorate through the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
So here's a bit of a background on the team that we had. So here we have an image of all of us around Christmas time. And our squad lead and product manager was Adam Schlitman. And then the development manager was me, James Fox. And then a developer that we had was Nicholas Lawrence, who is with me in this presentation. And then we also had Wyatt Chandler and Tristan Atterbury as our developers. And then for our more of the leadership side with our tribe lead, we had Trudy Dagomati and our project manager, Bill Browning, and then our coach, Taryn Moss. So they all helped us out a lot with deciding some specifics on the technical side and what route would be best for our project. So they played a huge part into actually helping us decide what to create for our solution.
So as kind of mentioned earlier, the problem that was proposed to us was the Gretchen Swanson Center was in need of a mobile app to help their mission of promoting healthy eating and physical practices within childcare centers. And so the solution that we created, the Healthy Eating app, addresses this by focusing on aiding at-home childcare centers with documentation of their meal programs and providing oversight of their childcare centers in general. And so the solution that we built, as mentioned, we decided to go with a React Native app as our framework. This allowed us to develop in iOS and Android simultaneously, as that's obviously a huge time saver, so you don't have to develop for those two platforms individually or separately. And also, there were a few members of the team that already had some experience with React Native, so that was helpful for getting the rest of the team up to speed and having a semi-solid basis from which we can start. Another solution that we built was our team throughout the year proposed to our sponsor a form of admin view portal that could be used to interact with the data that they received from the centers through the app in just an easy and intuitive way for them instead of interacting with the database console specifically. So we'll see a little bit later when we talk about the features, just the abilities to view submissions, manage users and categories, and as well as download and delete data from the database. And speaking of database, the database that we decided to go with was Google Firebase. We settled on this as one of our developers, Tristan Atterbury, had a lot of experience with Firebase beforehand in the project, and the free tier of the database was more than enough when we did analysis of like reads and writes and storage capacity. Had more than adequate kind of supplies to meet our demands for the app, and it's also a very good setup for storing images, which is obviously a very large part of what our project is.
So here to take a look at some of the screenshots from the mobile app that we developed on the Android side, we have the login page where they enter in the email and password, and they can stay signed in so that they don't have to enter this in every time. And that authentication was using, once again, Firebase for the Firebase authentication. And that helps us keep track of all the users that we create for this project. And then once the users are logged in, they will come to this requested photos page where they can see what photos they need to send in. And there's a very clear visual of green and red, depending on if they need to send in a photo or if that photo has been submitted. Green means it's submitted and red means that it's needed. And then when they go to actually take the photo, then they will be taken after they take the photo to a preview page where they'll see the image and they'll be allowed to enter in a description to send with this photo for any information that would be helpful to for the analysis. And then on the website, uh, we had once again a login page that was able to log in the admin users only. So we had to keep track of if a user was allowed to actually log into this portal. And from there, they're able to go in and manage the users instead of using the actual Firebase console to create a new user. They just fill out these small forms. And if they want to get rid of a user, they can delete it from there because say their intervention is complete and they no longer need them in the system. It's just an easy way to keep everything clean and make sure that you have only the data that you need within the project. And once a user enters in photos, uh, if, for example, they are complete with their intervention and they don't need those photos to be stored in the database, but they want to download them and put them in a separate area, we have a way to select that center and dump the images so that they can download them into a zip file and put those photos into a location that they need. That way we also help keep our database storage down so that we can remain in that free tier that we discussed earlier for Firebase. And then here we have the categories, the manage categories page. So this will allow them to actually say what each photo is, if it's a afternoon snack or if it's lunch. That will be considered a category, so they can create. So the admin can create a new one if they need something else, or if they no longer need one, they can delete it all from this one location. And then here we have the images that will show up when they first log in. So it will display based on what center you choose or what category you choose. So here we have an example of selecting by a center. So we selected all of the photos that were entered in by the UNL center, and it shows up their lunch, their breakfast, their drinking water. So from there, you're able to see all of the information and photos that go in with what they've submitted for that intervention.
Lastly, here are just some value and highlights from the project. When it comes to value for the sponsor, it provides a channel for evaluating monitored centers, which was obviously one of the main goals set forth to us at the beginning. And it also contributes, like we mentioned, to the ongoing study that is being conducted by the sponsor, as well as greatly easing the burden of data collection for our sponsor's thesis. These were all main points and kind of requirements and expectations that were set to us and that we strive to achieve. And some highlights for the project and kind of where it ended up at the end here, at the end of the year. The mobile app is live in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store with the current updated version of the app, as well as the admin view portal is also live and functioning as expected. So we are very excited about that, to get the app published on both platforms and to have that admin interface available as well right at the end of the project here. And so just kind of the note of completing project requirements by the end of the year, which we were very excited about. But additionally, aside from the value for the sponsor, highlights of the project is value as a team that we received. Um, Obviously, working with senior design projects is meant to kind of give the um, a little bit of a taste of what it's like working with corporations or in a team in these kinds of settings. And so, as a team, we really did feel that this was a good experience for us, being able to go in and kind of get a feel for what things like requirement solicitation actually looks like, as that was a large part of what we did in release one, of trying to figure out what needs to be done, what is expected of us, what the sponsor is looking for, as well as we got a little bit of another taste of requirement solicitation later on when we proposed the admin view, as we kind of just gave the idea in a meeting and spent the next little bit looking to see what the sponsor would like out of a portal like this if we were to develop it. And I think that was just a big part for our team of being efficient at that and making sure that all the requirements were clear for both parties, and so that there were no need for retracing or constant feature addition or anything like that. And I think that was just a really great value that we had the opportunity to experience firsthand while we were still in school.
So we would just want to then say thank you and to our sponsors again, to Aletha and to the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition for allowing us this opportunity to work on this project and to gain the knowledge that we did throughout the year and become better developers and work collaboratively. Thank
Yes,
you.
on behalf of the whole team, thank you to Gretchen Swanson Center. for this opportunity.